Peace and abundance always. Peter Abundant, aka Dr. Abundant here, minister and PhD in metaphysical sciences. So today we're going to continue going into decoding the book of Genesis of the Bible. We're going to go into a deep dive of understanding the Bible from a metaphysical standpoint, not from a religious standpoint. So I want to give those who are very sensitive about Christianity or religion an opportunity and share with you that this may trigger you to some degrees. Now, why is that? Well, that's really up to you to understand and decipher. But what I want you to know is my intention here is not to sway you away from Christianity or religion for that matter, but to support you to get a deeper understanding as to your belief if you are Christian, or if you are somebody who's on a spiritual journey, a deeper connection as to the hidden wisdom inside the Bible. Okay, this is with the intention of support, because what I have learned as a metaphysician, somebody who sees beyond the physical, is that most times in life, there is always a deeper meaning behind what it is we see on a superficial level. And it is through practices of self-awareness, mindfulness, meditation, that you get to create a gap, a space of opportunity where you can see those things, right? See that deep meaning and a deep essence of really what's going on in your life, or rather within you, which often expresses itself outward. Okay, so this is part 2 of our deep dive into the book of Decoding Genesis. Okay, and so today we're going to go into Genesis chapter 1, verses 6 through 8. And it says, "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." I'm going to read that again. "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day." Now, in the previous video, we talked about the first day. And the first day, essentially, from a metaphysical standpoint, related to manifestation, was about gaining clarity. You see, this is my understanding as I've read through this story of creation, that the story of creation isn't necessarily about God, this external being creating the world or creating the universe or creating Earth. This is about divinity and you being the creator of your reality, thus using these tools to create your reality, your world. And so these 7 days of creation are really about the 7 steps of creating your world, you see? So we're going to keep going deep into this. Now, I'm going to be looking at my notes. As you can see, I am not by any means a scholar. I am not by any means an expert of the Bible, but I can tell you and give you some insights. Now, this isn't about taking what I say and saying that this is the reality or this is what it means. This is about giving you a general interpretation from a metaphysical standpoint to help and support you to see a deeper essence, a deeper meaning for yourself in understanding and uncovering your true self. You see? All right. So let's get into it. The metaphysical interpretation, right, of Genesis 1, 6 through 8. In the passage, right, we talk about God creating a firmament. firmament. Think about that word, firm, okay? To separate the waters above from the waters below. On a metaphysical level, ultimately it symbolizes structure, right? And we're going to get into what structure it is symbolizing later on. But it is a firmament. Firmament means a structure, a object, right? A piece, something that is separating waters, right? And creating the waters above and the waters below. All right. So when we break this down metaphysically, the firmament, the waters symbolize infinite possibility. The waters I mentioned before representing life, but the waters actually represent the infinite possibilities. It represents your mind, your imagination, right? The possibilities of what it is you can create, what you desire. So anything that you desire, no matter if somebody deems it possible or not, that's irrelevant. It's about what you desire. And that desire expands infinitely. Okay. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it is that you desire, it's in the infinite waters of reality, of the universe, of your mind, of the possibilities. Okay. So that's what the water represents. It can be referred to more as your consciousness, or even more so, maybe subconscious mind. Okay. Your subconscious mind is a vast ocean of infinite experiences, infinite storage of knowledge. Everything that you experience in life is going into your subconscious mind, and it never goes away. You know, you may not be able to access it, like you may not be somebody who's good at memory and memorizing things, but believe it, it is still there in your subconscious. You just have to learn how to fine tune being able to access that experience that you experienced once before by way of your subconscious to recall that experience and that information. Okay. So we're talking about the infinite waters of the mind, consciousness, the subconscious. Remember, we talked about the subconscious in the last video as it pertains to training yourself to gain clarity, but to program this clarity to be something that you essentially are dialed in on, focused on. Okay. Now, the waters, again, often represent subconscious. It represents also emotions and limitless creative energy. That's what the waters are. It is basically, just like I said before, as it pertaining to life, the waters represents the life of manifestation. Okay. Just like on this planet Earth, without water, life doesn't exist. Nothing exists. So when it comes to manifestation, without the infinite waters of consciousness or the subconscious, then you cannot create anything. Nothing will exist. You see? So before order, right, is created, everything was formless and undifferentiated. Like it didn't have any sense of structure. But the water creates a sense of potential. Just like when I mentioned before about heaven and earth, heaven represents more of like the infinite possibilities of what you desire, whereas earth represents it coming into formation, it materializing. We're going to hit on some of that more later. Now, the waters above represents higher consciousness. Okay. Higher consciousness, divine wisdom, spiritual understanding. Whereas the lower waters, right, we're talking about the firmament, right? Firmament is dividing these waters. So the higher up is upper consciousness, right? Spiritual awareness, that kind of existence and wisdom. Lower symbolizes lower consciousness, which is really representation of the material world, right? Earth, okay? The physical realm of manifestation. Just like before, when I mentioned heaven and earth, almost the same thing, where we're talking about the waters representing this consciousness, this wisdom, this divine energy and essence, and then the lower waters representing it materializing, right? It coming into shape and form. So the firmament is very good. The firmament, aka heaven. It is the dividing structure between the upper waters and the lower waters. Now, what exactly is that thing? That is actually your conscious mind. Okay. Your conscious mind is the part of your mind that analyzes, looks out for patterns, right? Comes up with conclusions, finds patterns, looks for, rhythms and flows, and really analyzing the consistent data of what's happening, what you're experiencing, what you desire. And so the conscious mind is the dividing factor, is the firmament between the ultimately like the super conscious, which is the higher conscious, right? The above waters, and then the lower levels of consciousness, which is the below waters, right? Before creation, right? Thoughts are often mixed with limiting beliefs, paradigms that don't support you, that tell you you're not good enough, that tell you things like, you're meant to suffer, you're a sinner, you have doubts, insecurities, contradictions, right? So what is happening is the firmament serves as the thing that is going to process the limiting beliefs, right? Is going to process and sort out the limiting beliefs versus the empowering beliefs, is going to sort out what is contradictives, that is not going to be productive and supportive for you to actually create that which you desire. And it's going to separate those things out. So when we get more into manifestation, then you start to see how it actually divides what is in alignment with you creating that which you desire and what isn't in alignment with you creating what you desire. Now understand, we're going to go into multiple levels. So as I break down what this means metaphysically, I'm later going to break down what it means when it comes to manifestation. All right. The first step is to understand that you are using your conscious mind to discard the conflicting ideas. You're using it to align yourself with the divine wisdom. Okay. This is important. This is where self-awareness comes into play. Self-awareness is constantly being in a position where you are able to analyze what it is that you want, what it is that you dream about, you're passionate about, curious about, and what it is you're actually doing. Is there a difference? Is there a misalignment? And so your conscious mind is there to find that, to see that, to recognize that pattern or that way of disharmony or misalignment. Okay. And then from there, you are to align yourself. All right. So let's talk about manifestation. Okay. So we talked about day one. Day one was about gaining clarity as to what it is you want to manifest, what it is you desire. Okay. Now day two is about organizing your thoughts, separating the truth from the illusions. All right. So that gets into identifying that these waters are essentially you finding what waters actually support you, what fragments or what essences of you that are actually in alignment with what you desire. Because remember, it's eventually going to materialize. So you have to make sure that you're mindful about that which you're focusing on. All right. So how to manifest? Okay. Create a firmament. So essentially the firmament is to create a division of what is in alignment with what it is that you want and recognizing what isn't, and then separating those two out. All right. And then you have to focus on the things that align with what you want, the ways of being, the actions, the speech, the associations of others, all the things that support your creation. Okay. Now that you are step in day one, you have clarity about what it is that you desire. Step two is about separating, creating a firmament between that which you desire, right? And the alignments of those things versus the limiting beliefs that stop you from actually pursuing them. So, example, if you desire financial abundance, right? Separate the lack-based beliefs, okay, like money is hard to get, from the empowering beliefs, like abundance flows effortlessly, okay? So you have to recognize when it comes to affirmations, when it comes to your desire to create that which you want, initially you have the knowing and the knowledge to say, okay, abundance comes to me effortlessly and easily. But then there's a voice that may come up in your head. Sometimes it happens to me where it's like this small little voice that's like, really? Are you sure? So you have to separate those things out. That's what the conscious mind does. The conscious mind is analyzing those things, is recognizing when you're in alignment with the thing that you desire and when there's a part of you that isn't in alignment. Now, when we talk again about the two waters, the above and below, to me, that also represents duality, or it represents the spectrum of contrasts. To me, it represents, you being in a space where there is a thing that you desire, but you're constantly going back and forth between that which you desire and that which you do not desire. And you're constantly moving back and forth because your consciousness is leading you to what you desire, but your ego is telling you, maybe not. Maybe this isn't good for us. Maybe we're not good enough. Maybe we don't have the skills. You see? So it's like this back and forth, and you have to be able to observe that by way of your conscious mind to recognize what you're doing, and then continue to use the practices of affirmations, self-hypnosis, autosuggestion, and things of that nature to continue to program the subconscious to lean toward that which you desire, so that way you match the frequency of that thing, thus creating it. Sort the waters. So the waters below represent unconscious fears and doubts. The firmament is your conscious choice to reject those limitations. So here's a technique I think is very important. I like this technique a lot. Journaling technique. So what I invite you to do is to simply take a piece of paper, write down old limiting beliefs on one side of the page, and on the other side, replace them with new empowering beliefs. Okay? Or you can actually write it out in a way that it is explained in the Bible. Say up top, you have, your empowering beliefs, you draw a line, and then below that, you write the limiting beliefs. Okay? And so you just simply write. When you write something empowering, you jot it down. Something you desire, you jot it down. Something you're happy about, you jot it down. Anything that's negative that comes after that, you write it below the line, right? You write it below the firmament. And then what I want you to do is simply acknowledge those limiting beliefs, but we are then going to cross them out. And we're going to focus on the things that we do desire. All right. So affirm your higher awareness above waters. Declare that you are aligned with your divine truth. Affirmation. I separate truth from the illusion. I am aligned with divine wisdom, and my beliefs support my higher vision. So let's get into the science of it. So the conscious mind acts as a filter. Okay. Now we talk about the conscious mind being the part of you that is active right now. You're watching me. You may be watching what I'm wearing. You may be watching my background. You may be watching my gestures. You're listening to me. You're analyzing. You're coming up with a conclusion, a judgment, right? You may be saying, this guy's crazy. You may be saying, I kind of resonate with what he's saying. I kind of like what he's saying. Those various things that are happening right now. That is your conscious mind. It is filtering out, right, what you are assuming, what you're coming to, your conclusions, and is deciding whether or not it is something that is empowering or something that is not. It is deciding whether you're going to hear me out or whether you're not. It is deciding whether you're going to continue to listen or read or whether you're not. Okay? So it is filtering. It is separating the waters. When you replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, you reprogram the subconscious mind, allowing manifestation to happen more easily. So this is very important. This is the process of the conscious mind. This is the process of the subconscious mind. This is the process of, again, you getting into the waters and what it means to separate out the waters. All right. Cognitive restructuring. So this is psychology, right? It's something that's understood as essential. And it's a good example of dividing the waters. You are basically choosing which thoughts to keep and which to discard. Because this is about the mind as a tool for figuring out something, coming up with solutions. All right. Coming up with the answers to that which you are desired, to that which you are focused on. So the conscious mind is analyzing and filtering. The subconscious mind, okay, is then receiving that information, especially when it is backed by intense emotion, and thus programming it as a way of being, as a pattern, as a habit, as a program that automatically happens, okay, when it's engaged, meaning when it's triggered, meaning when it's reminded of something that is similar to the initial experience or event. So key takeaways, all right? Remember, day one was simply about clarity. Let there be light. It was about gaining understanding as to what it is that you want. So day two is really about mental order, structuring, all right? Let there be a firmament. It's about organizing your beliefs and thoughts to support your desire. So essentially, I want you to practice that technique of, again, I'll word it this way. So write your desire at the top of the page, draw a horizontal line in the middle. This represents your firmament. The above line, you write beliefs that empower your desire, right? I am worthy of success, right? I am worthy of love. I am love. Below the line, you write beliefs that contradict your desire, right? I had to work hard to prove my worth, right? Making $1 million is really hard. I am too old to fall in love, whatever that story is. And then you're going to cross out the limiting beliefs below, right? And reinforce the empowering ones on a daily basis. Now, let's get into the daily basis part. Remember, at the end of this, it says, and this was so interesting to me, and now I get it. And the evening and the morning were the second day. I found that so fascinating. Why did they word it that way? The evening and the morning were the second day. This is because, again, the evening and the morning is when you are in your subconscious mind as you are asleep. So when you are asleep, this is the best time to actually use and do these practices. Now I get it. You cannot write these things down while you were asleep. But the point is, when you are going to sleep, this is a good time for you to get into this. Right before you go to sleep, do this exercise where you actually create the firmament. You write above thoughts that empower you. You write below thoughts that don't. You cross out the ones that don't. You reinforce the positive ones. And you continue to repeat that over and over in your mind as you are drifting off to sleep. Okay? So closing thoughts. Day two, again, is about setting up the mental structure that allows manifestation to unfold. You separate doubt, right, from certainty, confusion from clarity. The firmament is your conscious power to create order from chaos. You see? So understand that this journey is about you creating your reality. This is about you separating the truth from the false. You separating the pure essence of your consciousness and what it is meant to do versus the fake ego and what it is stopping you from doing, or what it is actually wanting you to stay and be stagnant. It is wanting you to be comfortable. Being comfortable is very dangerous because it means you are not evolving. You are not changing. You are not coming into your true essence of who you truly are. So I invite you to continue to allow yourself to just think differently about this book called the Bible and grasp the deeper hidden meanings that are going on within it. Because now that I'm going deep with the knowledge, the insight, the experience that I have as I study metaphysical sciences and looking beyond the physical, right? Looking beyond the superficial, just reading the words, knowing that simply reading the words doesn't really make sense. You have to read beyond the words. This is poetry. This is symbolism, right? This is an allegory. This is a story. And all stories have deeper meanings, especially the good ones. And this book of stories is one of the best collections of books there is. So we have to honor that and go deep within it in order for you to actually learn what the wisdom is, apply it to self, because that's what this whole book is about, applying it to self so that way it can help you uncover, reveal the truest essence of who you are. So I thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you continue to join me. Trust me, the process of this and me sharing like this will get better and better because, usually I go and I channel the information and I just go. This time I am looking at notes, I'm doing a little bit of research and I am going deep into what it is that I'm reading. So that way it is organized. Usually what I share with you is coming from the divine within me. I'm channeling that out. And so it comes out really effortlessly. This time is a little bit different. And this time it takes practice. Even this video is even better than the last. And it will get better and better and better as I go along. So please, for those who are critical, be patient. All right. For those who embrace this, thank you. I appreciate you. Because of you, I will continue to do this. But really, I find it so fascinating and interesting anyway, but it helps that people are receptive to expanding and opening their mind to go deeper into this knowledge. All right. Because I want you to be supported in being who you are, be supported in being and understanding who you are truly. Okay. Beyond the ego, beyond your name, beyond your gender, beyond your sex, beyond your color. Okay, those are valid things to recognize as experiences in this physical world, but they really aren't who you are. Because once we leave this physical world, we're not going to be any of those things, most likely. But anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate you. Join me tomorrow. We'll go deep into day 3, okay, which is Genesis 1, 9 through 13. So thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, get access to this free ebook, The Power Within, and so much more. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.